On tonight's show, the ghost that wouldn't die. Well, Tom, if it's a ghost, it already died. Look, just stay tuned. You'll see what I mean. Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to the show. Tonight, we're venturing to the town of Peoria, Illinois, to review a supernatural occurrence that unfolded there. Tom, we've already been over this. I don't believe in supernatural occurrences. In fact, I barely believe in any kind of occurrences. I'm very cynical that way. Oh, this is different, though. This event was witnessed by over 100 people. Tom, I don't care how many of your Yahoo friends you bring with you. And I don't care what kind of story you harebrains cook up. I'm not buying it, bud. Oh, I forgot to mention. This event took place in public and was witnessed by the entire staff of professionals at a state hospital. Is this something I could interest you in? Staff of professionals? Oh, that's a different bag of Oreos, isn't it? Peoria State Hospital was an institution founded in the 1800s for the mentally insane. Dr. George Zeller took over as director of the facility in 1897, where he became acquainted with one of its longtime patients, a Mr. Bookbinder, or Old Book, as everyone called him. Old Book was deemed mentally ill as a young man, and had been an inmate of the hospital most of his life. As far back as anyone could remember, he would come by Dr. Zeller's office every day and visit with him. He loved to talk and laugh. He was friends with everyone in the hospital. Sometimes he would sit beside an old elm tree outside and talk to everyone that walked by. His best friend was another inmate named Toby. They would walk around with the nurses, help hand out food and medicine to people. He also enjoyed helping out around the hospital grounds. He would shovel snow in the winter and clip grass in the summer. He loved taking care of the flowers and trees. He also had the sad duty of digging a grave whenever someone would pass away. One day, after the death of an inpatient named Toby, Dr. Zeller looked out his window and saw Old Book with a shovel digging the grave, and he was crying uncontrollably. Dr. Zeller walked outside and said, "Book, I didn't know digging this grave would make you cry."
"I'm crying because Toby was my friend, and now I'm never gonna see him again."
Sadly, many more of Old Book's friends would pass away. You see, as time went by, year after year, many of them grew old and would get sick and sometimes die. One of the longtime nurses, Henrietta, passed away from pneumonia, and the hospital held her funeral. Old Book was bereaved. He used to carry boxes for Henrietta and help her with other chores. The sermon for her was held outdoors on the hospital grounds, and it was interrupted by Old Book breaking out into tears. He folded his face into his arms and leaned against the old elm tree.
Oh, oh,
He sobbed. He cried. The people tried to comfort him, but they couldn't stop the hurt inside him. His heart was too big. Dr. Zeller took off his jacket and said, "I'd better dig the grave this time, old book."
No. Henrietta was my friend, and this is the last thing I can do for her.
He wiped the tears from his eyes and went to the shed to get his shovel. The years continued to fly by, and the hospital went through many seasons and changes. New people came and went, but all of them made a new friend at the hospital. The groundskeeper, Old Book. He was a fast and loyal friend to all he knew. Until finally, one winter's day, Old Book fell ill and died. His funeral was attended by the entire staff of the hospital, including Dr. Zeller, who himself was gray and advancing in years. He insisted on being one of the pallbearers. The crowd assembled on the grounds outside, and the men carried the casket down the hill to the prepared grave. When suddenly, a sound broke the silence.
Oh!
The gallery of onlookers froze in shock as they immediately recognized the voice. It was Old Book's.
Oh!
Gasps and whispers could be heard in the audience. Someone stood up and pointed.
It's coming from that tree!
They ran up the hill towards the old elm tree that Old Book used to lean against. But no one was there.
Oh!
The sound could be heard again. Dr. Zeller ordered the men to open the coffin, and as soon as the lid was breached, the sound stopped. Many people in attendance that day testified to these events, including Dr. Zeller, who wrote that Old Book must not have wanted to say goodbye to the people he loved so much. In 1965, the old elm tree was split in half by lightning and removed from the grounds. The voice was never heard again. Perhaps the splitting of the tree represented Old Book's breaking heart. Or perhaps the lightning strike was some divine hand, helping usher him to his next home. What we can be sure of is that Old Book will be fondly remembered for many years to come. Thank you so much for watching this evening. I hope you have a wonderful night.